All right, good morning, everybody. Goose here with the Anonymous Traders. Next installment of the Benzinga Pro Workshop coming at you here. Went over the news feed and details already, as well as a quick overview of the dashboard itself. You can check those out in the Benzinga Pro playlist if you missed it. Also, like, subscribe, all that jazz, so you don't miss any future updates. I'll be doing more than just Benzinga Pro stuff. I'll be doing a lot more videos going forward in the future. But anyway, let me get down to it. So as you know, Benzinga Pro is my resource platform of choice. So I highly recommend it. Today we are going to go over the calendar tool. So you see I've just got a blank workspace here. So I'm just going to click on the calendar tool and bring that up. As you can see, didn't really bring anything up, right? It might happen like that. Sometimes it'll populate the first time you use it. And sometimes you'll find that it just does this, but it's not really an issue. It's because right now the date is set to today, basically, or yesterday. And there were no earnings yesterday. So just a quick overview here. The calendar is extremely useful. It is built into the details tool, which I went over in the last video. It does have a calendar in the details, which is dedicated to just that ticker on the details page that you're looking at. This calendar would be something that you could do if you wanted to bring up all the earnings for the week coming up or month coming up or all the IPOs or whatever the case may be. It's got a lot of options like that, so we'll go over that. Just like all the other tools, you got a search bar really at the top. You can search by the security name, which means the company name. You can pop out the window if you'd like, just like all the rest. And then you've got your filters here, so you can reset your filters. That'll quick reset everything back to default. You do have a watch list option for filters, so if you'd like to filter just your watch list, you can do that as well. Then you got your calendar. It's really nice because you can choose today, this week, this month, last month, trailing 7-day, trailing 30-day, and all that jazz. So we'll just go to this week. That's usually the one that I like to use when I'm planning the week ahead. So if I go to this week, and then this is on the earnings calendar right now. This is all your earnings coming up. Now it is, I wish it would go in order from that way, but you can sort it. You can sort all these columns. So as you can see, I sorted it. So 7/13 is now the first day at the top. That would be Monday. And then it goes down, so I can get a good idea of what earnings we got coming up and all that jazz. Tells me the period, confirmed date, EPS, estimated EPS, surprise EPS, revenue, estimated revenue, surprise revenue. You can go to columns here. You could add exchange, period year, and importance. Different columns that you can add. You can also filter down if you want only estimated EPSs, ones that beat the EPS or whatever the case may be. You've got a bunch of different filters that you can choose to go through here for the earnings calendar. So, like I said, you can do this month. And it takes a while to load it sometimes. That is one thing I wanted to, let you know if somehow you got it reset and it's selecting like forever. It will possibly overload the system and give you a warning and kind of slow things down. So just be careful when you're selecting these options. Generally speaking, I would stick to these down at the bottom. If you're just wanting to know today's, obviously today won't bring anything up. If you want to know the last week, well, week to date, this week would be week to date. But if you want to know last week, you've got trailing 7-day. So as you can see, you've got all the EPS here. So you can sort it by the surprise EPS and know which ones really beat their estimations. Um, Trailing 30 day, same thing. You know, that's where the filters would really come in handy if you're looking for something specific there. Uh, yeah. Then you can of course put in just a ticker if you just want to know the ticker, or if you want to filter it down by watch list, you can do that as well. So other options on the calendar, okay, we'll go down them here just so you know what they are, but you've got analyst ratings. Um, so you're not going to have analyst ratings this week. They don't know them yet. So you would want to use something like, a trailing 7 day or trailing 30 day to see what stocks maybe got a new analyst rating and what have you. Again, columns, you've got plenty of columns you can choose from here. So shrink it down a bit if you don't like all that information. And you've got plenty of filters here as well. I mean, a lot of different filters on this that you can change. Okay, so you've got so many different filters that you can use here. And that's the thing with all the columns and the filters, those change. Pretty much every list you're looking at is going to give you some different options over there. So also keep that in mind. Always want to look at the columns and filters and see if you can make some changes to make stuff better for you. You can move these columns. I don't know if I've really explained that too much. You can move these columns around as you like. If you get close to the edges in between columns, you can shrink them down, or you can do all that stuff, all the normal stuff. You can sort every single column pretty much however you'd like to sort it. Okay. And all the same options on the calendar. Trailing 30 day, week to date, that kind of stuff. Like I said, you're not going to see too much on the today. Today will show what has already come in today, but if you click on this week, this month, they don't know who's going to put out an analyst rating in the future. So those won't pop up on any type of list. And then you can go to conference calls. And same thing. Conference calls, obviously, it's not going to have anything for today. But if you click on this week, it's going to have conference calls coming up. Very, very useful. With the whole buy the rumor, sell the news. Most of these are probably in relation to earnings, but some of them might be, in relation to something else you might want to look at, especially if you see off the wall wins like at 12 p.m., stuff like that. Usually earnings would be earlier in the morning, 10 a.m.-ish or earlier, if it's a before market open earnings. And I'd say usually, anywhere between 6 p.m.-ish and 4:30 p.m.-ish, after hours earnings conference calls, generally speaking. But that's got all the webcast information, phone number if it's available, international phone number if it's available, and access code if it's available. Again, you've got columns. Importance is down there. I'm not sure what that does. Let's click on that. I've never used it. I think they just added it, in fact. Importance, 0 out of 5. So it seems like this is going to be some sort of scale of importance. We'll take a look at that on let's go back to analyst ratings. I want to see what that does. We'll go to trailing 7 day, and we'll turn on. Oh, it doesn't have an importance column on the analyst rating. Okay. Which one it did on the earnings, right? Yeah. So let's do that. Earnings this week. Go down to importance. Let's see what that says though. Okay, yeah. So, like Netflix, it's saying this is a 5 out of 5. Important. 4 out of 5, 3 out of 5. I don't know where they get these numbers. It's probably something Benzinga comes up with, their analyst team comes up with on their own. But, yeah. Okay, cool. Very cool. So that might be something to, back test and look at and see how those importance numbers stack up in relation to the results and price action. So anyway, conference calls, like I said, same thing. It's got all that information on what you need to access the conference call, and if you go back, let's take a look. I've never really. Usually, I go to the details screen of the ticker if I'm looking for information about a conference call. So let's go. Let's just try trailing 7-day. I want to see if the transcript is somehow available here. Don't think it is. The transcript is only available through the details page, it looks like. Let's go back 30 days. Yeah. Now, a lot of times I will say that you can usually click on the webcast of one that's already happened, and they'll have the transcript posted on the site. So yeah. All right, so let's continue on down. Dividends, same thing. It's going to be dividends expected, dividends not expected. So this would be dividend yield dates, basically, announced, record payable. So that's giving you an idea of what your dividends are coming out. You can sort columns, plenty of action there, plenty of filter action on the dividends. You want to do different yield percentage greater than and all that good action. So this is a great way to really research dividend investments and find ones that might fit your criteria. Because then you can just go to the details, click on and pop up the details quickly, see all the financial and key data that you would need to make a decision on whether that's a dividend investment that you want to really look into. And then the same thing, like if I was going to do that, for instance, go to Graco, I would probably then immediately go to their calendar, go to dividends, and you'll actually see how the dividends have changed over the years. And that's very important when you're investing in a dividend company, is to see how their yield changes and if they ever cut the yield for any reason. Yeah, good info. Very good info there. But it's the same thing, and you can go back. Same idea with all of this. It's really the same idea. Earnings, we kind of already went over. Economics. I'm not sure what they do with economics here. Let's take a look this week. Okay, this is like the different. Oh, that's cool. Very, very cool. This is a different like economical sectors and shit like that. Oh yeah, that's really, really cool. So if we went to the trailing 30-day, yeah, it'll give you the actual. Very nice. Very nice. That's very cool. Okay, well, you could figure out the economics of different sectors. Um, the consensus would be like your whatever you're expected, I guess. Okay, guidance. If you don't know what guidance is, this is when companies put out uh, information on expectations, so to speak, or how their company's doing. Guidance is the proper word, because that's truly what it is. Guidance by the company in relation to their stock. So you'll have like minimum EPS, maximum EPS. So they're saying that the EPS results for this period is going to range from that number to that number and give you a good guidance on minimum revenue, max revenue, revenue estimation, all that good stuff. So that's also very, very useful as well. Looking back on guidance that was just posted gives you an idea of what stock might be moving based off of this guidance. And IPOs, again, pretty useful. This one automatically populated a whole month, the month prior. Uh, Not even the month prior. It put us like basically right in the middle of the month. So you've got IPOs coming up here and IPOs that have already happened. So yeah, again, very cool. I don't know if y'all noticed, but LMND, this one right here, was a great IPO to invest in. And so it is good to look at our IPOs coming up, really, and research a ticker, because you can go pull up information on private equities. It's not like it's not there. So when this was private, it still had news. This is news going back to June. The IPO hadn't been out yet, so you can still research news there. And then if you go to FinViz, private equities are lots of information on FinViz regarding private equities. So anyway, just to give you an example of what I was talking about live. Actually, let's go back to do this easier this way. When did the IPO open? So the IPO actually opened at $25, but immediately gapped up to the 50s, and you could have got in here. There was plenty of time to get in the 50s or 60s even. The next day, it spiked to 95. So, pretty good gain, huh? Off of this IPO. And even if you'd held it since then, and you got in the 50s and 60s, and you were just holding it, you have plenty of time to get out with profit. It really hasn't dropped back down. So, just I love IPOs. I don't ever really play them too much. I really regret not playing LMND. Charlie was squawking about it all morning because they couldn't agree on the price. Usually when they can't agree on the price, that means there's a lot of people wanting in, and they can't agree on, a low price. So that means the price is going up. So that's a good sign to buy in right as soon as it opens. Get you something, 1 or 2 shares if you don't want to go too much on it. Even 1 or 2 shares at $50 a share, if you get almost 100% gain on it, that's, can't complain about that. Gains are gains, right, guys? Gains are gains. So again, mergers and acquisitions, another good one, to have. So this does have expected mergers in it. You'll see these Q3, Q4, 2020. Tells you what it is, the types. Again, there's way too much for me really to talk about in this. You've got to basically go through and look at the columns, look at the filters, and see what, set it up, man. Set it up what works for you. Right now, I haven't been getting that deep into it because I generally use the details tool for all research on a single ticker. I do use the earnings, IPO, just to see what's coming up, but I haven't really, drilled it down too much. Definitely, you've got a lot of options to do that. Same thing with retail sales. Let's see what we would do here. We did this week, nothing. Trailing 30 days, nothing. This month, nothing. Last month, nothing. Week to date, nothing. Weird. Not really sure what this is, retail sales. Let's go with, let's take it back up. Boom. Okay, so there you go. Retail sales. Gives you an idea of different stores and store sales. That's pretty cool. Okay. Very cool. So if that's something, yeah, it's just more research, more tools that you can use to research. SEC filing. This would obviously bring up a lot of information, so be careful when you click on this. It's going to take a while. See that? That's the error I'm talking about. Reach a limit. The result set was larger and capped at 3,000. To see the full data set, change the date range or limit by watch list. So when that happens, it just slowed down my computer. You really couldn't notice. My computer's pretty quick, but it really freezes your computer when it locks up like that. Freezes up Benzinga Pro. You can still use your computer. Benzinga Pro freezes up is what I should say. So just be careful when you're on something like this. There's going to be a lot of SEC filings, right? So that's something where I would probably filter it down by watch list or by a ticker name or something like that, at least, then just focus on today. I wouldn't do any of the others, maybe week to date. You can do, I don't know if I really didn't touch base on this, but with the calendar, if I go like that, it's going to do this date range, okay? And then if I click like that, it's going to do that rate range. Basically, it's every 2 clicks. See? It's kind of hard to do, because especially if it's reaching a limit like that, it just froze up my thing again. So that's why it's important to, on these bigger ones, kind of filter it down. See, my Benzinga's all froze up right now. I just killed it. I'm clicking on all these buttons. Oh, that's funny. That is very funny. So I'm just going to reload this real quick, guys. Benzinga Pro, the page is not responding. Exit pages. Yeah. I think I broke their server. I'm just kidding, guys. I really didn't. If it ever locks up like that, like I said, it's not locking up your computer. So you can still refresh the page. You got plenty of options to get out of there and refresh. And it's locking up, not because there's a problem with the software. It's locking up because you requested way too much information. And so yeah, it's just, yeah. So just be careful when you're doing that on the bigger things like SEC filings. Secondary offerings, same idea. You just go through it real quick. So it's got your share quantity, share value, price, all really, really good information if you're looking for offering prices and stuff like that. Splits, tells you the upcoming splits. This one again, it automatically did the date, kind of like it did with the IPO. So our date is right in the middle of that range. I wish it kind of did that. Well, no, I don't. Some of the other ones, it would pull way too much information if you did that automatically. So that's why you'll see sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. IPOs and splits don't happen nearly as often. So, as you see, this is a short list. And then unusual option activity is extremely useful. Watch it. I usually stick to today, and I watch it during market hours. Cosmic has gone over this in several of his videos. You can check out his YouTube as well. I'm a subscriber of it. He's part of the Anonymous Traders group and chat room. He puts out a lot of cool stuff, a lot of relative information to help you day trading. So definitely check him out. But anyway, he's getting into options these days, and so this is a calendar that he uses quite a bit. But we'll be trailing 7 days. This again is going to pull up way too much information. Lots of options activity. So I don't recommend doing that, but I just wanted to pull up some stuff for you. I do recommend something, maybe filters on this. You could do the last trade as today. If you just want to see what happened today. Volume over interest, open interest. That's really like me. If I'm going to play an option, that's what I'm looking for first. That's the first number I want to see, is volume over open interest, which is this last column. So if I filter that way, we were talking about it last night on the webinar. This is huge volume over the over open interest, which is substantial. Anything over, depends on who you're talking to. So Ryan Polino with Benzinga Pro, his number is 30. He looks for anything over 30. Right here, he would be looking up from that point at all of these options to have something to play. Another thing that's good to look at is total trade price. Okay, so total trade price. Somebody's putting in a lot of money up here, right? So if they're willing to put that type of money into that trade, yeah, maybe I'm willing to do that too. Especially if the volume over open interest is in a position that I like, a number that I like. So if we scroll down here to 247.67, that's awesome. With a very nice total trade price. DTE, days to expiration, expiration date. Okay, this is your strike price that you're looking for, right? So what is that? Is that Tesla? Yeah, I knew it. I knew it right off the bat. So Tesla, strike price of 15.50 on a put sweep. Okay, days to expire is 21. So it's expiring at the end of July. You've got your size. That's your order size. Okay. Option price is very important as well. Okay, that's your trade price of the last trade in the sweep. So that would cost you $177.80, basically, if I'm not mistaken, to make that option. And then your volume over open interest, very, very important. Very important number. So yeah, this is definitely, if you're playing options, definitely a calendar that you would want to look at and get into. So that's pretty much it for the calendar, man. That went on a lot longer than I wanted it to, but it's a lot of information. Probably could have zoomed through it a little bit because it's kind of the same as you click through each calendar, but I did want to just touch base on some of them and why you would want to use those calendars. So again, guys, I hope you liked it. Like, subscribe, more to come. We still got the rest of this list. I'm planning to get through that all today, or definitely today. I wanted to get it all done, posted up this weekend, so I'm going to at least get through all the rest of these tools. We got watch list, movers, signals, screener, squawk, and chat to go through here. So those videos are coming up. So like, subscribe. Make sure you turn the alerts on if you want to be alerted, notified when I post a new video up. Comments, criticisms, concerns, trolls, whatever. Put them down in the comments section. I'm also going to put the Benzinga link down in the comments section for you to get this great resource and get started on its free trial. 14 days, no obligations type thing. No payment info even needed. You got nothing to lose. So, all right, guys. I'll catch you on the next video.